Anyway, you reminded me of our recycling days. Did someone ask for this?
Well, yeah, I think I mentioned this maybe on the last episode or on the episode before, but I kind of offhand mentioned when Horatio and I were in school, we lost 60 telephones for charity. It must be last episode.
Maybe more. It was a lot.
Maybe 80.
We had a lot.
We didn't hit 3 figures.
I don't know. We had a lot of people.
It wasn't 3 figures.
It was a successful collection because people were giving in multiple.
I think it was
phones.
around 70.
Yeah.
We didn't hit 3 figures for sure, but it was, there's a lot of phones.
Yeah.
But we told this story we definitely told it on the podcast, but I think it was like years ago.
Yeah.
So then someone quite rightfully messaged me being like, what do you mean you lost 70 phones? Because we kind of went over that without an issue.
Well, instead of doing CCF, which we talked about at length, as opposed to serving in our armed forces, we decided to fight a bigger challenge, which is bigger than British national security, which is the environment, which is trying to protect the world.
A far more noble one.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got all these guys trying to be men when they're young. We were like, no, we were sensitive young men who saw the real threat to humanity.
Queen and country, sure. What about world and people?
World and humanity.
Humanity, exactly.
How about that, Army?
So it was, I think there was like 3 of us, and every Wednesday we'd go around helping with recycling.
Go around is a strong phrase. We would sit by the bins on big stools.
Yeah.
And ensure...
What did we do? What was that actually the
No,
thing?
we did nothing. We would sit by the bins and ensure that the younger recyclers were putting the recycling in the recycling bin.
That was so good.
That was for an hour every week. The 4 of us would sit by a bin and ensure that the younger recyclers put it in the recycling bin.
So with the kind of school we went to, there's like a lot of what you pay for with private school is take these kids off my hands as long as possible.
Yeah.
That's like a big part of
So they can
what the
pick you
whole
up
thing
after
is.
work.
Yeah, and it's just give them as much time as possible to themselves. That's why it's a boarding school. It's the same kind of logic.
Yeah.
So a lot of school is finding things for kids to do that are built into creating.
But then they couldn't make us
holistic learning experience. So Wednesdays,
if they made us do any more sport, we'd have like broken bones and people would start crying. We did so much.
Yeah.
So it was like, what are we going to do on a Wednesday? That was your time to give back to community. Your proper definition of extracurricular activities.
Yeah.
So I think this is where we're talking about the CCF stories.
Yeah.
Which you had to start doing from year 9.
We did our time in the army. I don't want anyone.
We did a year more
than
than we needed to in the army because it was compulsory to do something like that. So in the army or the Navy or the Air Force.
I don't want anyone calling us conscientious objectors. Like we served our time.
We served our time.
We did at least one tour of the New Forest.
we did. Well, because we won't tell that story again, but we went. It's one of the most ridiculous things. Imagine Horatio and I in full army uniform, ill-fitting army uniform. But it's because the first 2 years, year 9, year 10, you had to do it.
Yeah.
And then in year 11, you don't, because they're obviously like, we're not going to keep making you do the army. It's kind of crazy enough that they make you do it in the first 2 years.
Apart from army nerds, which is a specific kind of nerd that I think is quite rare to private school.
And the worst kind of nerd,
the officer nerd, the guy who's built for service.
Yeah, Dad's quite high up in the police force.
Yes, sir!
Yeah, had a military haircut just out because of it. So we had a choice not to do it in the 3rd year and then onwards. And all you had, there was like obviously limited spaces and everything. And Horatio and I were the worst people in the army.
We were good marksmen. We both did pretty well.
Yeah,
we were good shot.
Look at us. Of course we are. Of course.
But we're mavericks.
We're mavericks,
We didn't play by the rules. They only get us in when they've exhausted every opportunity.
We're like the Tom Cruise.
We're going to have to get Gordon Kerwin.
We're going to like the Ethan
Where
Hunt.
are they?
We're Ethan
Recycling.
We have those days behind us. Now, so it was the 3rd day.
Yeah.
There was, on the 3rd year, we had the choice to go to other things. And Horatio and I were the worst in the army, other than marksmanship. And I guess, do you call them teachers?
Yeah.
The Birdman that took it was...
The ex-SAS guy.
The ex-SAS
Simpkins.
Man, don't name him.
What?
Well, he was
a big boy.
The big rumour... the big rumour going around was that he was so close to being in the SAS, but he failed on the final thing because he fell out of a helicopter.
Pussy. No, sorry.
Mad pussy. How'd you fall out of a helicopter? I've been in a helicopter, didn't fall out of it.
Exactly.
Sign me up for the
SAS are begging for you to join, but you're not interested.
I'm fighting crime in different ways.
Exactly.
So they hated us, we hated them. It was like I think there was almost kind of a countdown going on in the army for the generals, and it being like, there's only a few more months and then these two fucking idiots will be gone. And then you would get the choice to sign up for different things.
Yeah.
And we couldn't wait to get out of it. We were so excited. Like, next year, we're not going to have to do this bullshit. Because it happens for the whole year. So you got to sign up for something for the whole year. And because of our laziness and stupidity, we missed the deadline for everything else. And the only thing that was left was the army.
Yeah.
So we had to do another year of it, which was when it got a bit more serious. And I remember seeing the faces of like the guys, the people who were in charge of them. They saw us rock up and they're like, why are you
You don't want to be here.
Like, we don't want to be here either. We missed the
because they didn't like it because we ruined the vibe a little bit because when it's pretend army and the stakes aren't there,
you don't
and
want
you're
two goons.
Yeah, because you can easily. It's like you can easily make an orgy feel weird if you like. Do you know what I mean?
But if you're like acknowledging what's going on,
like, if you're like this. Like, that's going to kill the vibe of an orgy.
Yeah, we're going to feel that tomorrow. What, you're really...
Or just going like...
You're really doing that? Yeah.
So, we were like, we were like that at an orgy at the army. And I think they felt like...
We took them out of their pretend.
We're trying to pretend to be
We took them
army.
out of their play.
Exactly.
They were playing and having a good time. We were silly boys. So we did that for a year, but then eventually, and then there's a story you can find. I think it's the name of one of the episodes where we had to go to a camp, and it was the worst night of our life, but one of the best days I think we've ever had after. But so then the next year, we were then the first people to sign up because we weren't going to do that again and sign up for recycling because some of our friends had done recycling previously, and it was like, what the fuck is recycling? What do you do in recycling? As little as you'd presume. It was like these two teachers who kind of took it, but didn't really take it. And you would go and sign in, and then we would genuinely sit by the bins and ensure that the younger recyclers.
That was what was awesome, is that we were immediately, because of our age, we were high up in the recycling.
Even though we were army guys.
Yeah, exactly.
We were ex-army.
We were trained in the army.
We're vets. We're vets. We don't know. We don't know the ways of the bins.
What was fucking amazing was me, you, Will McGoldrick, sat out by the bins. And it's just
I seem to remember we had hockey sticks.
But we had underlings.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
So not only were we doing nothing, we were ordering...
You and I were entirely unqualified.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, put it in that bin. And just watching these kind of annoyed younger
students... There was only one bin.
With huge bin bags.
Yeah. And they were doing all the work.
And we'd never had to go through that.
No.
It was fucking
because
amazing.
the others did their time. The others did their time in the recycling world, and eventually, they're like, that'll be me next year. Whereas we were off fucking around in the army and then just walked straight into a management position in recycling.
But anyway, the teachers did kind of cotton on to the fact we can't have them doing nothing everywhere. This is taking the piss because it will spread,
I think there was like some kind of quiet comments from different teachers walking past being like, why are these boys hanging round the bins every Wednesday at 4 p.m?
We're the bin mafia.
It's the same boys. And they come and be like, what are you doing? Be like, recycling. We're like, recycling. Because we got told of quite a lot.
What are you doing?
We got told of quite a lot, but we had a reason to be at those bins. Yeah. Move it on.
And so they then sort of seem to crowbar like this thing in, which was, if you're going to be recycling, you have to have a project that's going to help.
Yeah. Well, they kind of made us do a project because I think we ruined it for everyone else. Because I think everyone who was on that kind of thing, managing the bins, was doing it quietly, realising this is sick, maybe being on their phone, whereas we were being raucous, like shouting at kids, fobbing off teachers. I swear we had hockey sticks for no reason. And we were like throwing shit. So they thought we have to keep these boys busy because they're kind of acting like public menaces on our time.
Yeah.
So we had to come up with a...
Did we come up with this?
We came up with it. We had to come up with they sat us down and said, we can't have you hanging around the bins anymore. And we couldn't really argue with that. So they were like, it was Milo as well. Yeah. Me, you, Will and Milo. But we were... So then they said, you have to come up with a project. And do that instead of hanging around the bins. But we were like, and I think I was like, but how are the kids going to know which bin to put it in? And they kind of looked at me like that. The kids have always known.
There's clear colours.
Yeah, we allowed you a useless job. You took the piss with it. Now you're doing this. It was like, fair enough. But so our genius idea was like, what's a big scourge on the environment right now? Social media, the future. Oh, kids, look up and see the world. Stop looking down at your phones. So we decided to recycle telephones. Yeah. Everyone's got an old phone hanging around in a drawer. Horatio had 2. Now I've got them.
I recycle them to you.
Yeah.
But where do you recycle them to?
They're still in my drawer.
Yeah.
So I've got phones in my drawer hanging around.
It is an interesting thing with recycling. It's like, it's one of those weird things. Like with plastic bags, you know, the plastic bags for life that you just keep building up.
Yeah.
They're not really affecting anyone apart from you because they just live forever in your house.
Well,
they're not choking turtles because actually, they're just on your kitchen shelf.
Hoarders are good for the environment.
Yeah, like me having 8 phones in my drawer.
That's fine.
Who's that hurting?
Yeah. So in a way, we actually... Oh my God, we did such a terrible thing. I haven't really thought about that. That's even funnier, hasn't it? Yeah. Oh my God. So we did a big shout out. We said, we want your phones to the whole school. Yeah. There was a campaign. We put posters up. We stood up in the assembly in front of the whole school and went, we're here to, the cocky little shits that we were, young. Well, no, we were quite old at that point. We were like, we need to collect your phones to save the environment. Have you guys heard of climate change? Well, give us your old phones. Yeah. And the plan was, we put different collection boxes in like all the classrooms all around the school, in the corridors, everywhere, for people to bring in their old phones. It was a good idea because it would be like, I've actually had this hanging around and I don't know what to do with it. Yeah. You can get rid of it for me. All you have to do is bring it into school. And then over about a month, I'd say, before we called off the collection, we went back down to the bins during the collection because it was like we've got nothing else to do. And then over the month, I think we collected around 70 phones. Okay, so it was pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good amount of phones.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a bit hazy on the next bit.
Yeah.
But...
Well, you liaise with this company.
No. Yes, right. So I was there. I was liaising with this mobile phone recycling company, I guess. I was back and forth with on the emails. And then one week during recycle, we went round and we collected all the phones, right? Done.
Yeah.
And then when we went all to every single collection point, which is a lot, it took us all of the recycling, it took us an hour. Yeah. Put them in this sack. And then I was messaging them, and then a week later we then had recycling again, and then we were in the recycling place, and I was emailing them being like, right, so they want it, they can come and pick it up, I think tomorrow at like 5 p.m. So and I was like, so Will, are you good to hand that off to them? And Will was just like, I haven't got the phones. I was like, yeah, you've got the phones. Who's got the phones? And everyone just looked blank, and we just lost 70 mobile phones out of nowhere.
We had no idea where they went.
And to this day, I haven't got a clue where those fucking phones are.
Do you think a cleaner took them and put them in a bin bag?
In fairness, that's probably exactly what happened because we all had the same like room thing. We all lived it together during that time. We would have put them in our room.
Yeah.
And then a cleaner would just take them up and put them in the bin.
I imagine listening to loud music, just not thinking about it.
Not thinking at all. Just put it straight in the bin.
What, 80 phones? Not questioning why are there 80?
Why are there 80 phones? But yeah, they just disappeared off the face of the earth. I think everyone else thought someone else had them, but then they were just in our room. So what actually happened was we went to we said, can we recycle your old phones? Can we please recycle? We know you've got old phones in your house, which aren't doing any harm to anyone. They're just sitting there
in a drawer.
They haven't thrown them out.
Let's take them from a drawer and put them into landfill.
Into landfill. Because that's almost definitely what happened.
Those phones are going to be there for a million years.
That is bad. Didn't we? There was something, because there was, it went very quiet then because also you could sell the phones to the recycling company. So there was money involved.
I misremembered it. Or maybe you are only telling me the truth now.
Yeah.
I thought, and you could have lied to me.
Yeah.
I thought you said they lost it at the plant.
So that's why I said I was hazy, because I don't remember.
But were you potentially lying?
I can't remember whether we gave them in or not. I genuinely can't.
Because I remember there being a thing where we gave them in. And
I didn't lie about anything.
Okay, fine.
I definitely didn't lie, but it could have been that instead.
Yeah, I think they might have lost it potentially. I don't know.
It's funny if we lost it, but no, because then there was money involved, which was an issue. But what did we do? We didn't take it.
No.
I can't remember what we did with it.
No, because there was nothing to. It would just go back into recycling services.
Yeah, okay.
Recycling charities. But it was only
that was the plan.
Quid, you know?
But I remember being like, oh no, because they would have, because they would have paid for it, I guess, and then we would have then given it to a charity. But then I think the teachers kept being like, "Where's this money?" And we'd be like, we transferred it straight to the charity.
Do you remember another thing like that? Do you remember that? What was that business?
It's one of the most immoral things I've ever done, accidentally.
What was that business initiative which was like it was when we were like 12, 13.
Yeah.
You get given £10, and it's your job to turn £10 and make as much money with the £10 you're given. Do you remember
a pyramid
this?
scheme?
No. This was like this is to encourage young entrepreneurs.
I
And
loosely remember.
There's a lot of stories of people.
Did we do something?
Well, we had the whole pitch once again. So there's this big deal where you have to pitch to get this £10.
To who?
To who's running it. And
who's running it? Just an example.
Either a teacher or it was
Right,
like it's like a program that lots of schools.
Because I was
have been
hoping it wasn't like this shady online company was just handing out £10 to children.
And then you'd go up in assembly. Loads of people did it.
Yeah.
And you'd all get handed your £10.
What did we do?
We had an idea which was an AIDS charity.
AIDS?
Yeah, it was AIDS. It was.
In fairness, we know what charities we go fucking hard.
It was an AIDS charity, and it was
It's
the
not
idea
none of this AIDS UK
that
bullshit.
We're gonna. It was to sell.
AIDS. An AIDS charity.
It was to sell rubbers.
Oh my god! Yeah.
And the money would go back to AIDS channel.
Why
and then
rubbers?
Dad suggested it because Dad gets if ever there's a business idea, Dad's getting fully involved. He said, which is a brilliant idea.
Do you think
use
selling
a rubber?
Do you think selling rubber
Condoms?
Yeah, that's why we did rubber. That is unbelievable. Did we have to stand up and say that?
Well, there was more. They gave out the thing. We had a name for it. I forgot what it was called. Maybe it wasn't.
What year was this?
Like we were like 13, 14. It was very early.
So 2008.
No, it would be like 2010,
2010, and we were trying to cure AIDS.
Cure AIDS.
Yeah. We thought that the big thing, the charity that we needed to tackle
It's crazy.
in the West Sussex area was AIDS.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it was curing AIDS in West Sussex. I think we were trying to
help AIDS around the world.
I think it was like mainly Africa focused. This charity.
I remember us being a purely West Sussex AIDS charity, no further than West Sussex.
And then we took the £10 and did absolutely nothing with it. But then I don't think anyone else did, to be fair, which was quite funny.
We did at least buy rubbers, didn't we? Yeah. We didn't even buy the rubbers.
Nothing, absolutely nothing.
Who wants to buy a fucking? It's like that sounds like a charity from the 80s.
Yeah,
like. You know, everyone
everyone
uses pens at school now, and like computers are coming in, but we're selling rubbers and we're raising money for an AIDS charity.
I guess you could get for £10. I wonder how many rubbers you could get. You'd probably do like a cheap deal.
I don't think it is a good idea at all.
And then you'd go around. Everyone needed a rubber.
That's bollocks.
People needed rubbers at school.
Who needs rubbers at school?
We had to rub out maths. I'd often not have a rubber. And like if we got a cool rubber. I mean, ideally, you'd get a penis rubber, wouldn't you? No, that wouldn't be nice. That would be insensitive.
I don't think every time you look down at your rubber, you want to be reminded of the AIDS crisis.
Cock
that isn't currently
with a condom on is the rubber.
Yeah,
the white and red of the white and red classic rubber. One side white, one side red.
Yeah.
One side for rough, one side for like light rubbing.
Yeah. Or there was one was meant to rub out like pen apparently.
White condom round the dick, pink balls.
Look, everyone. I'm not saying the marketing. The marketing's great. I'm saying the ideas.
Use a rubber.
Yeah, we get it. We've all got it.
It's brilliant.
Everyone's got it. It's brilliant, but it's 30 years too late.
We're gonna cure polio as well.
Curing polio with a typewriter. Yeah. It's ridiculous. No one needs a rubber. Everyone uses a pen. If we were younger, when people use pencils, maybe. But rubbers are at the end of pencils. Every pencil has a rubber at the end of it. No one needed a rubber.
No.
I think if we actually did it, we would have sold 2.
Yeah.
To you.
Yeah. But no one. There was no success story came out of it, and I think they gave out like 20. They gave out 200 quid's worth.
Yeah, it's one of those.
I guess it's not a big loss.
One of those great school initiatives of where it's just there's a big pomp and ceremony, and then it just goes quiet.
You never heard one thing again.
Which I'm sure happens a lot.
Yeah. I was on the train up to Liverpool yesterday, and there's this weird thing. There was a ticket inspector who came round, the normal ticket inspector.
Yeah.
And then there was these 2 like doddery old guys wearing massive blue vests, like traffic warden sort of vibe. Yeah. Not traffic warden, but like charity, right? And they were going person to person. We'd already had our tickets checked twice on this journey.
Right.
And then these 2 old guys, walking really slowly.
Yeah.
Will ask for people's tickets again, and we've already been asked a lot. And then so rightfully the guy next to me said, "Why are you checking this?" He's like, "Oh, we're doing a survey." And we're like, "A survey on what?" We're checking to see what kind of tickets people are getting.
I presume everyone's showing their tickets on the phone.
Yeah, and it's like, and so they're making a note of what it's like
On a pen and paper.
Yeah. What?
Well, they're lying.
The information.
What are they trying to do?
The information is a database.
Correct.
It will all be.
There's no way those gentlemen work for the train line.
And so, these are ancient men. You know, they had like phones with like the big flip out phones.
Oh yeah,
with the leather
with
case.
20 cards in it.
Yeah. And he was pressed, and he was like, "Can't you get that information from a database?" And he just didn't really answer, and just.
And then just what kind of information did he take down?
I guess it's like, do they have a rail card? Is it a return journey?
I mean, the
what
train.
The fuck?
Look, I think our train system, for me, has always been pretty good.
I agree with you.
I've never had a problem, really.
Well, you don't get that many trains, to be fair.
Well, the underground.
I've had
the underground works
fine. People don't really complain about the underground that much. Some people do.
That's true.
But London isn't an issue.
Well, there was a famous song about it, wasn't there? But that was a long time ago.
And that was more about strikes. But like London has always been very catered for transport. It's more like
even Sussex was fine. I was getting trains all the time. I always thought it's always.
There's a couple of like delayed disasters and stuff, and I think compared to other countries, they have a lot better train systems.
Well, I don't think that's true.
Europe has a better train system. It's cheaper. It's more reliable. Less
France
delayed.
Is a fucking nightmare.
Well,
France is shit. France's underground system is awful. I hate the metro.
Well, that's Paris.
Yeah,
and
I know, but I've been
different.
cross country, and it's like it was expensive.
Yeah,
I don't think.
But I do think we're too harsh on our trains.
London to like Manchester is like ridiculously expensive.
The price, the price we agree.
Is insane. Yeah,
because it's more expensive than anywhere in Europe.
Yeah. But no, I've never really had a problem. But that there is, maybe this is where all the chat is coming from. The mismanagement of British rail. That's what's actually behind the scenes.
Well, I've never seen
the privatisation. Before. It's two old blokes. That's how they try and improve the service. Is they send Ken and John down with their big blue jackets.
They look like
on.
Ken and John.
It was Ken and John.
Yeah,
I can see them clearly.
I mean, to be fair, I've never got the train to Liverpool, so I've never been on that track. So I wonder if that's like a Liverpool train thing. I don't know if.
Why in the world would it be?
So, but I've never seen that before. I get the train a lot, so I don't know. Are they starting their own initiative and they've just been allowed on? Or is this initiative?
I think it's like a passion project for them,
or maybe it's like a recycle. It sounds similar to the phone.
You think it's another scheme?
I think so.
Could be a scheme.
And I'm supporting a man doing a scheme. You've got to support.
I wonder what they're.
It looked like they were keeping busy.
The most those men are going to do is put that information into a bar chart, and it's going to go nowhere else from there.
But what was funny is that they were doing it right in front of each other. So they're working.
Oh, so they didn't come as a pair. They would go one and one.
Well, they didn't work from other ends of the train and kind of work towards the middle. They were kind of blocking up as much room as possible, really slowly moving, and seeing two guys in bed. And it just makes more of a commotion when you've got two guys asking at the same time, "Can I see your ticket, please?"
Fucking Christ, yeah. Yeah, obscene.
I don't know what was going on there.
You'd think, maybe they do it so a bit of companionship, but it's like you're just talking to passengers, so what's the point?
I reckon at the train line there's a export PDF button that will crunch all the information with one click. I think there's probably
that might be wishful thinking, but I think
export PDF. It will have
all
the train tickets, and it will have all the information in a thing.
You can get a data dashboard that should be able to sift through that pretty fucking simply. But you always hear about how poorly managed it is. Maybe this is what it actually is.
Exactly.
This is how will they improve their services? Is all they're getting are these two guys walking up and down asking passengers.
Yeah.
God bless them is what I say. The King's got cancer.
Yes. Speaking of God and the divine right of kings.
Yeah.
So
what's your take on this? Podcasts are mental, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like this is because it was such a big deal when the Queen died. It's like realizing, the King's probably going to die pretty soon.
How old is he?
Don't know.
Well,
maybe 80, right? No, he can't be.
70.
70, yeah. And what was interesting is that we were definitely talking about the too much news coverage about his prostate. But they weren't checking up his arse and they found cancer. Apparently.
No.
Apparently, it seems like they had a finger up the King's bum and they're like, all good. And then he notices the King's balls, I think.
Is it testicular?
I think it's
that hasn't been confirmed, has it?
No, but it's
got to be around.
It's around that area.
They noticed it.
So they were.
It's not brain cancer, is it?
No. But it's interesting that the Buckingham Palace has specified it was not to do with the prostate. That was a side thing. So,
which seems this story.
We did say with the prostate thing, if it comes out that he's got cancer, then mea culpa. But it wasn't to do with the prostate. But thank God they were checking his prostate.
True. I'm just.
But it's a bit shady, isn't it?
The prostate story's getting weirder and weirder. I remember seeing that, being like,
why?
This is why people believe in conspiracy theories. Something's going on. It's like, oh, they're like, nothing to see here. The king's going for a prostate exam, and it's almost like you hide. If you're going to hide something embarrassing or something, or like a bad thing, you can often, when you lie, you say something embarrassing or a bad thing, so people believe it easier. Do you know what I mean? You don't go with something that's like, I'm going to get my hand checked. You go, I've got a finger up my bum. And everyone goes, why he's not lying? Because it's embarrassing.
Yeah,
it's the thing.
That's interesting. Because I would be like, I've got a prostate exam. Can we lie?
You use that all the time.
Well, can we lie about the fact that I got a prostate exam because I don't want people to know about it? So can we say that I've got cancer or something because I don't want people to know that I'm getting my prostate?
Well, the thing is, not as many people will care if you have cancer as the king. I'm sorry to say that. I'm sorry, but it's true.
I was trying to say if I was the king, I would try and cover up my prostate exams
with cancer.
Yeah, with some other story. I wouldn't use that as my cover.
God bless him. Hope he recovers and everything. It seems to be. This might be for me. I was like, this is becoming a tragedy almost. This man has waited his whole life to be king.
Yeah,
and it's almost comical how long Lizzie was kicking it for, and then he's finally got his moment.
Yeah.
It's not been long. He hasn't been ruling for long.
I wonder how long he'll last. Like 5-6 years?
I heard as well. This whole thing about, the separation of, the monarchy and parliament. It's not, church and state is what it is. No, it's not. It's not the church. It's king and state, but that's it.
Yeah,
it's not
king
a phrase
and state,
for it.
I think.
But, so they were talking about, he's taken a step back from his weekly duties or whatever. Mm-hmm. And old Will's taken over. The king has a weekly call with the Prime Minister.
That's famous.
Yeah, but
the audience,
yeah, I know, but
the audience.
But when you but a weekly call, and that I don't think you could say we have a separation of church and state when the king calls the prime minister every week. They're not talking about fucking champagne.
Do you think we should? The audience is like, yeah.
No, because it's. I guess it's I know what it is, but I didn't think it was weekly. I thought it was monthly. But
so you don't like. You want it to be You want it to be monthly?
No, I don't want it to exist.
No audience?
No, of course. Because if we have a separation of church and state, you can't... the idea is that it's like the Prime Minister goes and presents what's happening in the country and what his plans are. So of course, King's going to have an opinion on it.
So you know but it's the amount, the complex arms of government.
They will have an effect. There will be, even if it's minor, there is the king is having an effect. If anyone that calls the prime minister on a weekly basis is going to have an effect. Yeah. Anyone.
I guess it's like it kind of, with a lot of the things with the monarchy, you want that historicity of it all.
I don't.
So like the play The Audience that Bibi was in. You know, Bibi played Queen Elizabeth in The Audience.
Right.
So the plot of the play The Audience is that you follow the Queen's life. It basically was the precursor to The Crown.
Yeah.
Through her audiences with every post-war British Prime Minister.
Right.
All right. And that's a good setup for a play. And you didn't have an audience with the King.
I can live without that play existing.
Well, a lot of people can't.
I believe the separation of church and state is more important than the audience play. But...
I don't mind the audience. I don't think that they're doing too much. And I guess if I was Prime Minister, I wouldn't mind
talking to the king.
Well, going to the palace, it's a bit of fun.
No,
you go to the palace and then you bow. You meet the butler and he says, "The king will see you now."
For the Prime Minister.
Yeah,
not for us. I don't care about this one play and the enjoyment that a Prime Minister has on a weekly basis. I'm more thinking about how our country's run.
I don't think they talk. They're not meant to talk politics.
They absolutely do. Well, they do in The Crown. I've only seen a bit of it.
Not lots, really. It's more just kind of.
How the fuck do you know?
Well, The Crown.
Yeah, I know. Not a lot of it is policy. They talk about, and Queen. I think Elizabeth would have been far more standoffish than Charles is. Charles is sticking his fat fingers in the business.
He is.
You know that's true.
Yeah.
Of course, there's going to be some influence. If anyone talks to anyone for every week, there's some influence that will be had.
I guess you can't have that. It was sicker when it was Queen Elizabeth.
Because she'll be like,
it's a bit different now.
That dreadful.
But then she had an audience with Churchill, and so if you're Liz Truss, and she was the last person to have an audience. It is kind of mad that you're meeting the
so
Queen.
So iconic that she was the PM for the Queen. I will never get over it.
Awesome.
It's my favourite thing, her having a big part in the Queen's funeral.
And I'd be like, yeah, it's cool. But then if I
is she the shortest PM, ever?
God, yeah, 45 days.
But like no one died in 45. Yeah.
No, I don't think anyone's come close.
So then having her the shortest by far PM and the longest by far monarch is just fucking perfect. The chances of that intersection.
Her first Prime Minister was Winston Churchill. Her last Prime Minister was Liz Truss. And I guess I would, if I was the Prime Minister and I get an audience for Queen Elizabeth, the most famous woman in the world, that is lit. King Charles coming in, it is not as lit, so I might be able to re-talk about the audience.
No, I agree.
But I would be annoyed if I was starved of my audience with the Queen.
Again, you are going from the perspective of the Prime Minister, which is an odd thing. This one person. Look, I get it. I'd agree. I agree with everything you said. If I'm thinking about Rishi Sunak,
no one has a problem with the.
You can't have the audience. Yeah. I think that is we don't have a. I didn't realize it was weekly. I thought it was dodgy anyway on a monthly basis. On a weekly basis, they talk to each other, the Prime Minister and the King.
Cup of tea with the King.
Again, it's not vibes.
And amazing tea. Imagine how good.
Oh, great tea.
Incredible
tea and the biscuits.
Lovely biscuits.
Yeah. I think they were they cool. It's on the dog and bone.
No,
that's what it said. It said, "Will Prince William will take over the weekly call with Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, I believe."
Or maybe
I know I've seen a bit of The Crown as well.
They're meant to go into that big room,
but this is what
it's
not the same thing.
Then I'm like,
the vibes are off, and the PM isn't going to have much fun.
No, you want
imagine
to
if this conversation happened on Question Time. Just the strangest argument for this one.
You want to go through, and there's all the guards, and they
sure you do.
They move the spears away.
I agree.
My king will see you now.
I look at that. Oh, well, yes. Like, of course they're talking about fucking politics. What else are you going to talk about?
Yeah,
there'll be a bit of pleasantries, of course. This is Britain, but they're not gonna just talk about fucking football, are they?
No, but
therefore that's gonna have an effect.
I think how I'd treat.
Oh, you shouldn't be doing that, should you? Oh boy, that's what he's saying. Yeah. Oh well, we've got to sort out this mess in. What about climate change? I mean, he's a big climate change guy, but he will lobby the PM for climate change.
Yeah,
look, it's not the worst use of lobbying, but it shouldn't happen.
And because obviously the Queen put a cork in it, famously. One of the best
in what?
She did.
Famously, Charles took it out.
Because
of the bum thing. Go on.
To keep she kept her mouth shut.
Yes.
Almost to a.
Yes, because she's very much in those meetings.
Almost the greatest of all time at doing it.
Yeah. Oh God, 100% they go. So in those audiences and or calls, she'd be like, "Oh, isn't that dreadful?"
King loves putting his fat fingers in. You're right there for sure.
He's a stodgy.
But I do think how I'd treat the King and the relationship I'd have with the King.
Again,
even though
still going for the PM's perspective. Fascinating.
I'd respect
weird.
I'd respect the monarchy if I was the Prime Minister, but I would treat his opinions the way I'd treat my granddad's. It would have that sort of vibe.
Yeah.
Because an opinionated iPad granddad or even an iPad dad, he's listening to LBC, he has a lot of opinions, and I would be kind of saying yes.
I think even if you treat him as
God, yeah. Oh God, yeah. That's a good point.
Your plan is to patronise the King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Patronise the King.
Yeah. Ooh. There you go.
Because I'm a patriot.
Yeah, maybe that's where the word comes from.
Exactly.
Again.
I'm an empath.
Again, when I think you're a megalomaniac. Again, when I
just because I'm an empath towards world leaders does not.
One man. One man.
Still empathy.
The most powerful man in the country.
It's still empathy.
Isn't it? For the disregarding of the country's the country's welfare for one
we
guy's
need to be more flexible with the term of empath because I'm an empath for world leaders.
Yeah. When I brought up, isn't it crazy? Yeah. When I brought up the fact that they called every week and we've gone straight to tea and biscuits and oh well they'll do that. Crazy. I think that's great. I think that's obscene. And when people are like, it's either my argument for it is either pointless or it's immoral.
That's a good point. Yeah.
The tourist thing is like whatever. I don't fucking care. I'm bored of the tourist thing. People want to come to London for more than the King. I know it's a big thing. Yeah. Now Lizzie's dead. Who gives a fuck?
You want it all gone?
The buildings are going to stay.
You want it all gone?
Yeah. I do. I think it's a good forward step.
I definitely don't think there's any logical argument, and I wouldn't be able to put forward any logical argument.
Yeah. Well, you used to be more pro, and
I
then
think Prince Andrew was a big shift.
Yeah.
I was like, you can't be doing that, lad.
That one. On the state's dime.
I think the main reason I'd want to keep it is It's just a bit different.
It's nice for the PM to get out of the office.
Well, it's that, but also it does add a little bit of joie de vivre, a bit of it spices things up in this country a little bit, because if we got rid of the monarchy, we would just be like every other European country. You'd have a president,
a bit worse.
In that sense, you'd have a president and a PM.
Yeah, I'd say just a bit worse than other European countries.
I guess having this, it just does add a unique flavour of like, because there's just a real, it's a crazy thing to say, but like having the insane shit that happens in this country, but then also remembering you have a monarch. You know, what the fuck is going on here? You'd lose a bit of that.
Well, a bit of almost like kind of friendly chaos.
Yes.
Or it's kind of endearing.
Yeah.
I think it's like, what's going on over there in that weird little island?
Football hooligans, but then also a queen, and that kind of, you know.
Yeah, we don't. It's like Brexit's a bit like we don't want to be with you because we've got a queen.
I know. It's all just a bit weird, and I like the weirdness of it.
I agree.
I think that's genuinely it. I like the weirdness of it. I like the surrealness.
Again,
but logically,
all of your arguments have been tough to sell on question time.
It's pure vibe based.
You going on the news?
I do think we would be. We'd feel a little bit sad if they went.
I agree.
I think if another Prince Andrew thing happened,
you've got to go. 2 strikes and you're out.
You can't be doing that.
2 nonces and you're out.
Yeah.
But
in a family, you're going to have a nonce. If they're...
What's your family like?
You're going to have a nonce.
What, out of the 4 of you?
Well, I don't know.
Who is it?
I don't know.
Mum, dad, sister, you? You don't know? It's one of them.
One of them, though. And it's going to come out. Well, none of it's come out yet.
Dad, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you're saying in every family of 4, there's one nonce?
They're not in a family of 4. This is a big family.
I know, I'm just saying every family.
Yeah, I'd say in a family where you have the ability to do noncing on a mass scale, someone is going to put their hands in the cookie jar. That's true. And by cookie jar, I mean go to Epstein's Island and have underage orgies. I thought you were going to say
a much worse thing then. I'm glad you said
But Epstein's Island.
I'm glad you said Epstein's Island. And there also seems to be some sort of absolutely perverse propensity for younger children when you're very rich. That's just a thing. The more money you have, the more it seems that you want to fuck kids.
Interesting.
That's a big thing. That's like a thing.
Yeah, but is there not stat padding? That's the wrong word.
It's because you've got everything in life. You've achieved everything. Well, I'm not saying this is one more achievement, but it's like what else excites you other than once you've done everything and you can have everything in the world you want. You want the thing that you can't have.
I don't know. I think you don't really. I don't think you hear about.
You hear about rich.
No, you don't hear about working class pedos as much.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So I don't know if in our head we know about all the big pedos because it's a big deal.
You don't hear about
I don't know if the spread of paedophilia might be equal across the class.
I think disproportionate, for billionaires, 100%. There is a disproportionate amount of paedophiles in billionaires. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
That's definitely true.
That community is well represented.
I'm not saying middle or even upper class, I'm saying, but once you hit billionaire, all these stories, these pedo island stories.
There's more paedophile billionaires than female billionaires.
That is definitely a true stat.
And that's what needs to change?
Yeah, that's why we've decided to run for the US president. 2024, Gordon Kerwin. There needs to be more female. It's not actually a bad. It's not a bad thing. We're reducing.
You tap into like the conspiracy theory thing, drain the swamp,
feminism.
They wouldn't like that. So I guess you'd have to try and straddle that.
No, but you can do like the drain the swamp. I'll do the feminism. So they won't ever. We'll kind of trick them. We'll hoodwink them.
Drain the swamp.
Hoodwink them. Word of the day.
Swamp.
Hoodwink.
Let's do Guinness World Records before we go. Yeah. Let's give them a treat.
Let's do my gripe quickly.
Sure.
My gripe is predictive text. Seems to be, back in the day we would do it when we had those little keypad phones and fine. Loved it then. It saved my life. Nowadays, my fucking laptop's finishing off my sentence. Give me a fucking minute.
Finishing off my sandwiches. Sorry. Frozen.
Right, let's do it.
Sorry. In Frozen?
Yes.
Finish each other's sandwiches.
I saw that.
No, stay on this gripe.
Look at these two. The first page is these two.
Let's stay on that gripe. That's a great gripe. Yeah. I completely agree.
Fed up with it. Why are you it's the Mac thing. It's like, I think you mean this. Or like, you're going to say this. Often it's wrong.
Yep.
Often it's wrong. And I'm just like, give me a fucking minute. It's not like, I agree. If it came if it came in and there was a pause, maybe for like 10 seconds, and they might be like, are you thinking about that? But it comes in as you're writing it.
Like Netflix, are you still watching this sort of vibe?
Yes, it is. Well, that's much more judgmental.
Yeah.
That's more you're a slob. What's wrong with you? It is actually a good feature though, because it's have you fallen asleep?
Yeah.
Because that means the best thing is if you fall asleep during a series, it's not just going to keep running with your laptop on. It will stop it and then your laptop will go off, saving both energy and your place in the series.
Yeah, that's not a gripe of ours. The gripe is predictive text.
Predictive text. Let me finish. Give me a fucking minute. Every time it comes in, I'm like, give me a fucking minute.
I feel there could be a smarter approach to predictive text. I don't understand why they get it wrong so often.
Sure.
I think
it's fairly close.
I think there's a smarter predictive way of doing predictive tests. I think, so like there's weird predictive text where they capitalize things that should, like I need it, obviously.
You do, yeah.
But then predictive text has fucked me
but
quite a lot.
You need spell check more than predictive text.
Oh, I guess so.
Yeah, you don't need predictive text. Predictive text is when it's going, spell check. I've got a gripe with spell check. Have you got a gripe with spell check?
Well, because it's when you change, it changes it for you. You've got that, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't give you the option, it just changes it.
Oh,
That's the duck into fucking thing.
That's the duck into fucking thing. That's also correct.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, well, I'm talking about predictive text. You know, when it comes up, when you're writing like, and then the man, and then in the little grey, not proper bold, will go, went to the market. And then you can press arrow, and then it will fill in with went to the market. Also correct, I don't have a problem with, because if you've just misspelt something briefly, minorly, then it will change that.
Oh, I don't really care about predictive text. I don't really
care about also correct. What's wrong with autocorrect? Do you think it does it wrong?
So, look, every time I do Patreon,
I think it's because you
Patreon. It capitalizes Patreon.
Funny enough,
so you
weird
shout
that
Patreon.
you say that because it's on this phone.
Yeah.
Because I did it and I went, oh, I bet it does that every time. And then you said
Patreon,
and then you did it. You sent me a message today saying Patreon. It was capitalized. That is right. That's fair. I have
a couple of those as well.
I am talking about. We have really crossed wires here. I'm talking about on your computer, the predictive text on your computer.
Fine with it.
It doesn't exist on your phone. The autocorrect on the computer is good.
Good. Bad on phone, I think. There's something with texting.
My remarkable money's just come out.
Oh, good. Well, your monthly?
Yeah, £2.99. There it is. Go on. I agree with that, kind of.
I am someone who is one of the worst texters of all time. And I also refuse to check over what I've sent. Yeah. So it's sort of a mad dash. So I definitely need someone to clear it up. But I think they could do probably a better job clearing up. Because they don't do the most amazing job clearing my shit up. Admittedly, it's hard.
You look so old with that backwards cap. Pointing like that, talking about autocorrect. I think they could make it a bit better, yeah? No, so yeah, I guess we don't agree.
Yeah.
So let's do some Guinness Book of World Records. Just for a quick why I have this, because it was a great prank. Actually, the best prank I think that's ever happened to me. I can't remember pranks at school. Maybe there was a better one. But on the podcast, I talked before Christmas about how I hate when I'm the center of attention opening presents. Yeah. And then joked about, how, like, and then you have to pretend that it's great that you've got a Lynx Africa set or the Guinness Book of World Records. So my stepmom, when we went over for boxing over our Christmas there, she gave everyone's presents out. There was me, Elle, my sister, and her boyfriend, and we were the only people to open presents. She gave them all out, and she went, "Oh no, we'll go round. Andrew, do all of yours first." And I was immediately like, for God's sake. And she got me the Guinness Book of World Records and a Lynx Africa set. But I obviously didn't remember I said that on the podcast. So I opened it, and she made everyone watch. And I opened it and went, oh, this is great. This is fantastic. And oh, yeah, because to be honest, Guinness Book of World Records I was quite happy to have. Lynx Africa set, I was like, oh, lol, there is quite handy, and had to go for it. And then she went, I'm only fucking with you. And then everyone laughed at me. It was a great prank. What would you like to know?
Well, I don't know what...
Right, I'll give you some options of categories because they're quite broad, and then everyone can play along at home. This isn't just our thing. There's Blue Planet. There's humans. I think that's humans is what we want.
Just pick a random place.
Hair, hands or feet, tallest and shortest, family album, medicine, roundup, or explainer. Heaviest person ever. I think we're going to heaviest person ever. Let's go heaviest person ever. That was quite easy to deduce because
yeah,
there he is. Oh,
he's big. Right,
Joe,
give me.
Okay, there's a full spread on him.
Yeah, well, you need it.
He's the heaviest person ever. He doesn't look like the heaviest person I've ever seen.
Right.
On like documentary kind of thing. The only thing with the Guinness World Book of Records is that sometimes you just want the fucking facts. They make it into a bit of a, I'm going to sit down and have a read of this of an evening. Like, just give me, like, who was the heaviest person ever? How much did he weigh?
Yeah.
I don't need this spread on him. I don't need to hear about visceral
And also,
fat and poor
his
circulation.
knees, they didn't, I'm sure they're like that, but I feel they could have cleaned those up a little bit. Look at his knees. They're all
Well, that's what they look like.
Yeah.
They're accurate, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just trying to find how much he weighed. It's not obvious. I don't know. We're gonna have to do something else. That's ridiculous. Super scene.
Anything. Just do any random one.
Yeah, I know, but I just need. Wait, because there was a good one with. Wait. Like, hands and feet. That's what we want. Largest feet ever. What'd you go for? Everyone at home?
In
We're
what
doing it.
Measurement?
Let's do it in centimeters. Yeah, centimeters. Or you can do it in feet if you want.
I'll do it in inches.
Seems appropriate.
I'll do it in inches.
Can you do it in... How many inches in a foot? 12? Smashed it.
We
could do female and male. Go. Foot in feet or inches. Do it in inches.
Male, I'm going to say...
How many inches is my foot, roughly?
I would say that's about 10 inches, right? Yeah.
Sure,
Because I think a size 10 is 10 inches. Size 11 is vaguely 11 inches.
No, that's not true. That would mean your feet are 1 foot, 1 inch. Which I'm just going to say is the female.
No, my foot is a size 11, so it'd be almost.
I thought you were 13. Have they shrunk?
No.
Anyway, 1 foot. Yeah, but so people with 13 would have 1 foot 1 inch, right? Which is the record for a woman.
It's big foot for a woman, though.
Yeah, male. Is there a big?
Think about it.
It's not that much difference. Well, yeah, 1 foot 3.9 inches. Longest toenails.
That's a size.
Let's get serious.
That's a size 16. It's pretty big.
Don't really care.
You'd think you'd want it to be like a size 20.
Could care more. Most fingers and toes.
So is it? Am I going per hand or collectively? Is it per hand or collectively?
Collectively. And where does he come from?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So
collectively, hands and feet. And what nationality? Go.
Right, let me go. So,
but this is a quick fire.
So basic level is 20. So I'm
basic 20.
I'm going to say 35.
35, and where's he from?
UK.
No, wrong on both counts, surprisingly. Okay. Yeah. He's actually an Indian man who has 28 independent... I was
going to say Indian X. It generally was.
If you got it right...
There's a lot of people in India.
If you got... There is...
So you're hedging your bets if you say
I'm happy
India.
to be asking the questions here rather than answering. Yeah. 28 from India. That's odd. He works as a carpenter.
Does that help?
He says, I work mostly with saws and hammers. Have to always be careful to avoid the fingers because he's got 15 of them. I think so. I've just added that up.
Do another.
Longest toenails.
In what? Give me the measurements. Would it work?
Yeah. And longest toenails, and where are they from? I'm not going to give you a gender clue. See? Oh, wow. Measure the length. Nice. Hold on. The combined length of all 10 nails in centimetres or feet. No, do it in feet. That's fun. The combined length of all of her toenails and feet.
20 feet. No. Turkey.
No. USA.
Okay.
Woman, Louise Hollis, and they're 7'3".
Okay.
20 feet is C.
Sorry,
don't ruin it.
I imagine they're curling around. I thought it could be like really long.
7 feet.
Yeah.
That's an NBA player.
Yeah.
On their feet.
No, it's is it just toenails?
Yeah.
I thought it was nails collectively. Sorry. Of like hands as well. Because the fingers,
well,
you probably
wouldn't have been
about.
far off then with that guess.
Yeah.
There are some weird ones in here. I'm just going to read this out. I can't read the blurb yet, whatever. Most family members to walk on all fours.
Is this a person with the most family members? Have they won the world record for having the most relatives?
Which family has the most members that walk on all fours permanently? Then they're kind of forced to. And where are they from?
I'm going to go America again. And I'm going to say 8 of them.
Interestingly, it's Turkey this time.
Is it?
And there's 5 of them, right?
Okay, yeah.
5 out of 19 adult siblings of the Ulus family of Turkey are compelled to walk on their feet and palms of their hands. The Uluses struggle to maintain balance when on 2 feet, resulting in quadruple gait known as the bear walk. So they walk on...
So it's not like they've got a disabled back that forces them onto.
They just get a bit wobbly when they're on.
Yeah, I thought it would be more of a like kind of they're frozen into place, but no, they're just really wobbly.
Yeah.
A gust of wind will send them flying.
Okay, that's a better one. Largest. This must be currently alive.
Yeah.
I've got the largest feet ever.
Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah, do it in size. So you can do UK size, whatever.
UK size 19.
36. There he is. I mean, the angle's not doing him any justice.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a lot of feet. Right, we're just moving on to... These ones aren't quite as fun. Tallest and shortest, we all know about that. That seems terrifying. Longest interval between birth of triplets.
So when they're choosing Guinness World Records, is there any sort of parameter with what can be a Guinness World Record?
And the reason why is because our friend Paul
Yeah.
has incredibly small nipples.
Yes.
The smallest I've ever seen. They were smaller. We measured them once at school, and they were smaller than a 5 pence.
He was very small, very small.
So we got in contact with the Guinness Book of World
Yeah.
Records to see if...
Surely he's not even close, right?
yeah, I think that we did look it up, and there was someone with a
Yeah.
bit smaller. His are unbelievably tiny. But the thing is, it's not like... The Guinness Book, they don't just know that this man in Turkey has 28 fingers. Do you know what I mean? The winners of the world records have to get in touch with them.
Yeah.
So that's why the categories are so sporadic.
Yeah.
There will be your classics like tallest and shortest, and they will go on.
Oh, so the
And
categories are decided by someone who's
if it's a new one, and then they go, yeah, I guess we'll put that in.
Yeah, because it's interesting because there must be a lot of people... Well, the Guinness World Record for the most Ferrero Rocher eaten in a minute.
Yeah, someone...
I'd be interested by that one.
Didn't we? We were going to do that on air.
Well, I'd like to break that record.
We were going to do that on air.
I still feel I can.
This isn't a record. The shortest club DJ.
That's crazy.
Yep.
That's absolute shit.
It's a little person who's a DJ.
Yeah. 3 foot.
Yeah, 3'4".
Yeah, that's a short club DJ.
Yeah. Well, Wim Hof's in there.
For the longest time holding his breath or some shit.
It then gets all like a bit weird. But then there's obviously some impressive stuff, but you know, the best stuff is probably the
weirdos. The sickos.
Peculiar passions might be something.
Would you like to break a Guinness World Record?
No.
No?
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't mind.
I'd feel ashamed.
You'd feel ashamed?
Yeah. Want to be included in this book of freaks?
Obviously,
you want to be in there, do you?
Obviously, I don't want like the longest nails. But I wouldn't mind like, I don't know. I guess it
like
really...
an adventure one. The adventure ones are cool. Should we do... Oh, wait, there's arts and media, just before we wrap this up. Props.
Yeah, it does. That's sort of undermined the world record. Shortest club DJ is really undermining it.
Yeah. Oh, there's Tay-Tays on here.
Yeah. I guess I wouldn't mind having like one of those little Guinness World Record things.
Yeah.
Quite nice. I wouldn't mind like biggest jump from a school, off a school or something.
Biggest jump off a school?
I don't know.
I don't think you can get that one.
That'd be terrible.
Biggest jump off a school. I think if you jumped off any school, you'd win. But then you wouldn't be able to live to see yourself getting
it would be a black and white one because I'll be dead.
You get it in for 1 year in memoriam. Horatio Gould, who unfortunately died, attempted to...
The photo would be great of me just throwing it.
No parachute. Oh, hair just before we go.
Yeah.
Hair before we go. Yeah. We'll ignore super seniors. Old, like, who cares? And like the fat man, say how fat he was. Why longest hair in a teenager? Who's got the longest hair in the world? Largest competitive mullet. And where they from? If you don't get where they're from...
Australia.
No, more. Think better. Think better.
UK.
No.
America.
Yeah, mullet,
Yeah,
like
okay.
southern fucking mullet ladies.
Yeah.
Tennessee.
She's got the longest...
She's got the longest mullet. Business in the front, party in the back hairstyle that extends to a length of how many feet? So it comes just from her back down, however long you'd imagine. Yeah. How many feet is the back? And bearing in mind, her hair is like your length at the top.
I would say 7 feet.
5 feet 8 inches. But
Okay,
bearing in mind,
close.
that's as tall as her.
That's a long mullet.
The men are doing nowhere near as well. That's the men. The women are killing
So women
it.
are dominating that category.
Why is there just not largest hair?
Largest hair.
Yeah, largest hair. Longest head hair. No human or indeed animal has grown their hair longer than a man from...
China.
Yeah!
Oh.
We go on. After 30 years of avoiding scissors, she combed out her locks to an incredible... How many feet was her hair?
30 feet.
Oh, it's 18. You got it all... I just think for the purpose of entertainment, which is what we're doing now, you've got to lowball it. Every time you've gone high and it's been like, no, well, it's lower than that.
It's not impressive.
You might as well, but then the next one, you'll be like 2 centimetres.
Thank you very much for listening, guys. Join over the Patreon. We've just launched our community chat for £5 members for Knights of the Realm.
Which is popping off.
It's absolutely popping off.
Carnage.
Thank you very much. I have some tour shows coming up. My tour starts in 2 weeks in Manchester, Liverpool, Manchester.
Really good.
You're going to see that sort of kind of brilliant work going on. All links in my Instagram bio. Love you very much. Bye bye.
Bye.